a cooperation. Incidentally, BIIS has been set up, is a part of DBT, and we were involved in setting it up way back in 2007. Now, BIIS is an extremely energetic and enthusiastic organization which has provided support for all levels of students, right from almost school, college, undergraduate, postgraduate, scholar, PhD scholars, and others. You will hear more about BIIS today evening. Our formal inaugural session will start at 6:30 p.m. to 7:45 p.m. Let me first mention logistical issues that Dr. Renu Swarup, former Secretary, Department of Biotechnology, had engagements in the daytime, so we had to adjust to her convenience, because we all want you to be encouraged and inspired by one of the leading scholars and administrators of our country, who actually was also the formal MD and chairperson of BIIS. She, in fact, should be given credit for steering the BIIS so enthusiastic. So she will address you all at 7 o'clock. Dr. Manish Diwan, senior leader at BIIS, will talk to you at 6:40. 6:30 to 6:40, we will answer any questions that you may have. So let me again state what the plan is. 6:30, we will meet again in the evening. Please make sure that you don't miss that session. Then at 6:40, Dr. Manish Diwan will address you about the strategic issues in BIIS. Then at around 7 o'clock, Dr. Renu Swarup, former Secretary DBT, will address you and inspire you and all of us about the journey from a student to possibly an entrepreneur, a startup in the field of life sciences. So this is the plan for the evening. Morning, what we plan to do is to introduce you to the Honeybee Network and other important activities of Srishti and Honeybee Network, because you should realize that over the last 35 years that Honeybee Network has been around, and Srishti, which has been there for almost 30 years now. 2023 will complete 30 years. Next year, that means. So for 30 years, when there was no one in the country, for that matter in the world, was talking about grassroots innovations, or for that matter about linking formal and informal science, Srishti started an effort and tried to bring scholars and scientists in touch with the students. Now, this effort, I will share with you in a few minutes, how it has helped in creating large number of open source tools, open source databases, probably bigger than any institution anywhere. And we will go through them one by one, just to give you an idea. I should also mention that when you join BIIS, you join the network, Honeybee Network, and become an ambassador of the spirit of respect, recognition, and reward for creativity at grassroots. What do we expect from you all? We expect that as you grow in your life, you become scholars, you become scientists, you become technologists, you become entrepreneurs, you become policymakers. As you grow in your life for next 50 years, we'll be watching you. I may not be around for that long, but the society will watch you for essentially the effort you will make to carry the spirit that Srishti, Gyanan, and I have started way back in 1988, 87, 88, through the Honeybee Network. Srishti was the mother institution of all other initiatives that have come about. If Srishti was not there, probably we would not have been able to conceive all the programs that we have, including BIIS, Gyati Gandhian Young Technological Innovation Awards, Sitare BIIS program, Sitare Gyati program, Srishti Gyati program awards. All of these would not have come about. Srishti Samman, which is given, and so many other activities. The details of what Srishti does and what BioNest incubator that we have the society, the Sanctuary for Innovation, Incubation and Entrepreneurship, SIIE, will be shared by Chetan and Ramesh, both the senior colleagues in SASTI, and they will explain to you the activities of SASTI, but also activities of the incubator. So you should know that it is not enough, or it is not just that we will leave you after 3 weeks and our relationship will be over. No, we expect that many of you will continue to be with us during this journey. And some of you might either join us right after this program in month of May, when your course the term is over and your vacation. You can come back to our lab to add value to the ideas that we will collectively, jointly evolve during this program. You can also join the incubator, set up a company eventually based on a solution developed by you. If it is based on people's knowledge, then people, the innovator, the farmer, the artisan, the lady of the house whose innovation you may have validated and evaluated will be a partner in your enterprise. But the point is that you will be taking it forward, and surely your equity in the enterprise will be substantial. So we want you to start thinking about a startup future. At least some of you will, I am hopeful, continue to think about how can you, as a student, set up a startup. Doesn't matter if it fails. Does not matter if it does not take off. The fact that you would have started to convert, or what we call as translate, a research finding into a practice through an entrepreneurial venture is what matters. The enterprise can be, of course, commercial, or it can be do-it-yourself, open source. Both kinds of solutions we prefer. So let me begin now how BIIS has become an integral part of effort that SASTI is making for building capacity of the youth in our country, youth in the formal sector, youth in the informal sector, for giving respect, recognition, and reward to the creativity and innovation at grassroots. You might ask, sir, what is the need for talking about grassroots knowledge? And you may know that the Nobel Prize for artemisinin, the medicine for malarial control, went to Dr. Tu of China. And we will discuss that case study maybe later when we discuss about different methods of extraction for screening for different targets. But briefly, I would like to begin with that story. So in 1967-68, during the Vietnam War, China realized, at the request of Vietnam, that a lot of people were getting affected by malaria, and the available solutions were not sufficiently equipped to either prevent or cure malaria. So around 500 scientists got together and started working. After about 20 years, or rather I would say 15 years, 12 to 15 years, they discovered a compound. Now this compound was able to control the malaria, but its durability, its effectiveness went down when it was given to the human beings very quickly. So that was a problem. It degraded very fast, it metabolized very fast, but did not remain effective for even 2 or 3 days. Within a day almost, it degraded. You have to take more medicine, then of course there will be more side effects. So at that time, Professor Tu started looking at traditional knowledge system of China. Incidentally, even Artemisia, the plant from which this drug was developed, was also mentioned in the Chinese traditional knowledge and traditional knowledge of many other countries, including India. So when they started looking for the solution to this problem of instability, they found a reference, 700-year-old reference. And that reference provided them a clue. They found that this plant was used for fever similar to malaria 700 years ago, but it was extracted in a cold water, not hot water. They were trying to extract in hot water. And that was the reason for its instability, they discovered. Now, can you imagine? Simple questioning the method in the light of what communities had discovered, in this case, as a part of traditional knowledge 700 years ago, led to solution of a problem that 500 institutions, thousands of scientists working together for almost 2 decades were finding it difficult. And the solution was found because the method was not correct. And the communities had discovered this, that cold water extract is far more effective than the hot water extract. Now, you know the Chinese have a great tradition of taking tea. So they keep taking decoction of various herbs. So as a habit, many of us think that hot water extract will be more effective. In BIIS, we will question every single assumption, whether you are with a microbiology background, whether you are with phytochemistry background, pharmacognosy background, or even medical device engineering background, whichever background you come from, learn to question every single assumption at the undergraduate stage itself. Please appreciate that many times, we also published a lot of papers on this drug. Why didn't we get the Nobel Prize? Scientists in our country. We went on with the trend, making incremental improvements, but didn't question the fundamentals. And many times, as you grow old, it will become more and more difficult for you to question the fundamentals. My first advice to all of you is ask questions. Question why we are using hot water extract, why we are using ethyl alcohol as a solvent, why we are using some other media. Why should we not ask a question as to which media will be suitable for expression of the organisms that we are trying to screen for a particular target? Media, selecting the media is half the research many times, but we take it almost stereotypically, almost routinely. Whatever other senior students have used, we will use the same media. What our senior students have used, the extraction method, we will use the same method. Whatever methods have been used in the literature, we will use the same method. I'm not denying that sometimes we have to learn, not sometimes, many times we have to learn from the prior art, from the literature before. But should that become a constraint on our imagination? This is the question I'm asking. And please, my dear friends, you can interrupt me at any stage. If you want to add something, you want to question me something for something, or you want to share a doubt that is bubbling in your mind. Because many times what happens, the question comes in our mind. Until we find an answer, we are not able to focus on what is being discussed in the class. I have seen this. I have gone through this problem. So my suggestion is, if a question comes to your mind which you wish to raise right away, interrupt me. Most different speakers have different style. I don't mind you interrupting me at any point of time, now or in future interaction that we will have. So the important thing is that there is a merit in people's knowledge. There is a merit in grassroots innovations. And this merit, this knowledge system has sustained the society for a long time, may not be as efficiently as we are trying to do today. And maybe the bridge between formal and informal science will make it happen. So some of you are seeing SASTI logo. Amar, can you put the SASTI logo on the screen? So if you look at the SASTI logo, you will notice in the window that SASTI is mentioned in the gallery view, there's a lady standing with a pole, a pun on Archimedes, and saying, I will move this word, I will shake the word, I will move the word, I can change the word, provided I get the pivot of modern R&D. That's what this lady, with all her richness of knowledge system, biodiversity, and everything else, is claiming that I can move the whole world, not just my own macro environment, not just my community, not just my village, not just my country, the whole world. If I'm given a pivot, a chance, a leveraging tool of modern R&D. So friends, we are agnostic about where the solutions come from, but we do realize, at least in this BIIS, that we would like to get all of you interested in the knowledge that our society produces in coping with the problems every day. There are 3 assignments that you have to do, but minimum 3. There are more, which Amar will explain to you later. One assignment will be, you have to learn the traditional knowledge, examples from your parents or grandparents. Now here is the logo, which I want you to focus on. Give me a place to stand and I'll move the word. This is what she's saying. And we have believed in it. We have proved to the world that this is true. Otherwise, how could Srishti have filed 3 patents with the help of Gyan way back in 2000 or 1999, 98, 99, even before NIAB was set up in US, and got them granted in 2003. Farmers like Bhanji Bhai, Mansukh Bhai Jagani, Mansukh Bhai Patel, 3 of them from Gujarat, not even educated beyond 10th class, could develop innovations which could transcend, which could cross, which could surpass the prior art. That means the knowledge available in the public domain through patents or publications or products, through patents, publications or products in US and elsewhere, and do something that US government, US Patent and Trademark Office found worthy of granting patent. If you go to USPTO and write Srishti, you will find all the 3 patents, or write Society for Research and Initiative for Sustainable Technologies and Institutions, which is the full form of Srishti. Society for Research and Initiative, Society for Research and Initiatives for Sustainable Technologies and Institutions. Srishti. And this could be possible. Amar, can you bring the Honeybee Network logo? So the knowledge that we have gained, the ideas that have emerged from this faith. This is the modern R&D, the pivot of the modern R&D. It's a metaphorical statement. Obviously, you need a place to stand in our conceptual landscape, in our theoretical landscape, in our operational landscape. That's what we're saying. So, second point that I want to bring home today is the 3 assignments. One, where you will document the traditional knowledge of your grandparents, and also, second point, from these service providers. Now, this is the logo of Honeybee Network. A nameless, faceless person comes in contact with the network, gets an identity. We give voice, visibility and velocity to the ideas of creative people, both in formal sector and informal sector. We would like to share your achievements with the whole world. Yesterday, the previous BIIS ended, 9th BIIS ended. So one student, Amar, remind me his name. One student did a home experiment, and all of you have to do some home experiments, even during the 3 weeks. He did it. Gaurav. Saurav, yes. So Saurav did an experiment. He took was it the filtered water case, isn't it? So, Amar?
Yes, Professor, used to filter water.
Therefore, what he did, he took the kitchen waste water, kitchen wastewater, which also had sometimes phosphates because of this detergent that you may use to clean the utensils, apart from the nutrients which come from the washings of vegetable and fruits, and leftover of tea leaves, which have tannins and other compounds. So he set up he took 3 pots. In one pot, he gave water as such. In second pot, he took an ordinary filter, water filter, and put that water. Can you show the picture if you have, Amar, by chance? And then third experiment, third pot, he put a layer of neem seed extract in the charcoal material that was lying in the filter. And can you believe that the performance was outstanding? 3 plant pots given the same nutrition, but different kinds of water, different kinds of treatment of water. The one which was filtered with the charcoal, but with a layer of neem seed extract, performed the best. Now, it's a simple experiment. That means all the water from our kitchen, which has a lot of nutrient, but which is going waste into the drain, can be repurposed and recycled for use in our flower pots, in our vegetable gardens, our urban farming efforts, or in our rural farming situations with great effort. Now, I didn't know that. Let me tell you honestly. I didn't thought about this. Neem extract has been used for pesticide control, sure. Pest control, sure. But it can also be effective in chelating or absorbing other impurities in water and make only the nutrients flow. I didn't know that. I learned something remarkable. And I would like, and it's a simple experiment. It's a DIY solution. You can blog it, share it widely. I'm going to share it also very soon. And small experiment started by sorrow can become a solution for a huge problem of wastage from kitchen water. I would like each one of you to do home experiments. So first thing was documenting the knowledge of elders. Second, also knowledge of the service providers. People, a maid servant maybe, a driver, a person who operates the lift in your multi-story apartment or in your college, a gardener, a newspaper vendor, ye aam log, people who are in everyday life, we don't even treat them as a source of knowledge. And Amar will share with you at some time, or Chetan will share with you at some time, or Ramesh will share. We have examples of the collection from previous BIIS. Some of the outstanding examples of knowledge that they collected from common people will be shared with you to convince you that you can document the knowledge of elders and service providers. Why do we want to do this? We want you to develop respect. We want you to develop respect for the knowledge of our society, whether in the elders community, our own elders or neighbors, elderly people in the neighbor or community, or the service provider. Service provider is the poorest person in our community, in our network. Elders are the most respected person in our community. We are talking to most respected and generally most neglected. Correct? I want, and we want, all of us want, in Honeybee Network and Srishti and Gyan and all of these institutions, we all want you to develop Karuna, Samvedana, towards those whose knowledge, wisdom, innovation, and creativity can help us develop frugal, extremely affordable, extremely accessible, extremely available solutions for society. So that was one part. Second was home experiment. The third assignment I would suggest we will share with you the practices of people from our database. Some of you can also include practices that you have documented. We will not discourage you from selecting practices from your own social network, from your own community knowledge, from your own grandmother or grandfather, so long as these are not very common. If everybody knows that if we use ginger extract, ginger juice mixed with honey, then it helps in cough. Now, no point in working on that. It's proven. There are a lot of papers on that. Or licorice, mulhati, in cough, well known. Aceroda vasaka. There are a lot of cough syrups made out of that. So those which are already in common knowledge, either in literature or in market, we will not focus on that. So third thing will be, we'll take up some of the uncommon practices and do a literature review. Literature review is very important skill to learn. And when we do the literature review, not just literature review, prior art review, that means whatever is known beforehand. How do we do that? Three things. Papers, that is literature. Patents, that is intellectual property. And products, that is in the marketplace. All the three, patents, products, and papers, publications, patents, and products, all the three we will review on that problem. This is something each one of you has to learn now as an undergraduate student. Once you start learning about literature review, or let us say the prior art review, not just literature, but also patent, but also product, you will have to be original and innovative. You will not work on things that already is known. You will go beyond what is known. So that is the third thing. One problem, if you wish, and I'll come to fourth problem, which is the protocol that you will develop. You will develop a protocol for experimentally validating and value adding in one of the practices. It could be practice of the people. It could also be a blended idea where you have taken one practice. Let's say farmer had used lemon leaves for controlling certain pests, lemon leaves or flowers. And what you will do from our database, you may like to take some other leaves also. For example, papaya leaves, very seldom do you find pest on papaya leaves, except a disease like leaf curling. So you might try that. And add few more treatments in the protocol. Different methods of extraction in your protocol. Different methods, different targets for screening in your protocol. Microbial, in vitro, and some of you who have access to the farm or you want to come to our lab. We have a lab, natural product, Srishti Sadbhav Sanshodhan. Sadbhav Srishti Sanshodhan is a lab, natural product lab, which is there in Namrapur, Gram Bharti campus, about 15 kilometers from Gandhinagar. And my colleagues will tell you more about the lab. But this lab has facilities it has BIIS-11 facility so far as the microbial analysis screening is concerned. We don't have BIIS-3. That means not for the infectious organisms by and large, but we also have a library of pathogenic organisms against which we can do the screening, both of microbial extract, but also herbal extract. So many of you can come to the lab and work and develop skills of using different equipments, which may or may not get in your college. And also design, maybe if you want to work on microfluidic chips, a strip test for mastitis as our lab has developed. Or for blood group typing, just put a small drop of blood and you get to know which group, what is the group that you have. Now some of these solutions have been developed by our lab. You can work on that. Work on strips like that, microfluidic chips. As the undergraduate level, you will develop a protocol, and those of you who are interested will get a chance to practice that protocol. If your institution provides you facilities, by all means do that. But if you want to come to our lab and work day and night, we'll provide you facilities. There are two groups of people who can come to us. One, as Amar mentioned, the 10 of you will get 1 lakh each, most likely, from BIIS grant for working on your selected shortlisted protocol. So these are the 4 major assignments. There may be some other which my colleagues may talk about in future, but I just wanted to mention what is our expectation. And we like to hear from you about your expectation. Also, it is not one way, it's not going to be one-way traffic. We will like to hear from you. What are your expectations? What do you want to get out of this space? What kind of outcome will make you feel happy and satisfied and excited about this space? What kind of results will make you feel proud of this? That good that you got a chance. Mind you, we got few hundred entries. We have selected around 60, of which 53 are, or 50 are here. I'm very happy. But please remember, and I will request you to remember this. If you have exam, if you have a conflict with the class, send a small message or mail to BIIS address, BIIS@sasti.org. Amar will be receiving that and other colleagues. Abstain if you have to. I will not deny that. Sometimes it is necessary, either because of family reasons or because of class conflict or because of exam conflict. We can understand that, but with prior information. Just being away without telling us is not a good behavior. We would not like that. We understand your constraints. We are receptive. We are samvedansheel to that problem, but we would like you to follow the minimum courtesy. As a teacher, I must tell you that I don't mind somebody leaving my class, provided the message is sent. Because then it is a respect that you're giving to the discipline. We would like all of you to follow. So these are the 4 assignments. Now let me come to the next step as to how do we want you to grow in your life and what are the things that we can offer. We have a lot of databases.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, I have one question, sir.
Go ahead. Sir, maybe we should take some question now before I proceed. Go ahead.
Sir, in the evening, the classes will start from which time? Today the classes will start from which time in the evening?
Today at 6:30 p.m. to 7:45 p.m.
Okay.
6:30 to 6:40, 10 minutes we will give for any question that comes to your mind in the evening. All right. From 6:40 to 7 or 6:55, Dr. Manish Diwan, senior leader of BIIS, will talk to you. And at 6:55 or 7, Dr. Renu Sarup, former Deputy Secretary, will talk to you for 30 to 45 minutes. And then we will end today's program.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes. Any other question anybody else has to whatever I have said so far? Anybody? Any question so far?
Professor?
Yes.
Around 30 students of this batch has requested for offline classes. They want to come to SISTI to have practical experiences.
Yes, we will talk about this today with the BIIS, discuss with them. And no, Khushi, you can't do that in the class. Please keep yourself muted. Nobody should speak outside the framework of what we're discussing. Please follow some discipline. So we will, yes, I'll come to that question, Himanshi, your question also in a minute. We will certainly keep this in mind. We are very keen to get you here and we will resolve it by tomorrow. All right? We will resolve it by tomorrow. I will pursue it. Either today evening or tomorrow we will have the answer.
Okay.
And then because we have to take care of the logistics, the cost. So there are some budgeting issues, but any one of you wishes to come at your cost, we will be most welcoming to you to come here and start working right immediately there. We will still provide you hospitality and economical, frugal Gandhian food. 3 टाइम का खाना और सोने की जगह, ये तो हम आपको अभी भी कमिट कर सकते हैं. But there are more issues, for example, chemicals and all others that we have to organize. But originally, all first 4 BIIS were offline. Only after COVID, we had to go to online. So give us a day and we will tell you tomorrow. But in general, we will be welcoming you here. Our default answer is, by all means, you should come. Let us try to find a way in which you can come and learn and do experiments. We have access to a small. Khushi, this is not. Yes, I will remove you, Khushi. If I find you, if you have to raise a question, you have to raise your hand. Do you want to say something, Khushi? Let me stop here and listen to you. Khushi, do you want to ask some question? Where is Khushi? Remove her if she is not willing to answer the question. Please remove her. Khushi, please be careful, because this you have done it twice. In 1 hour you have done it twice. Not acceptable. Okay, all right, doesn't matter. So friends, we will welcome you, and we have access to a small piece of land just opposite Srishti, as well as some farmers around the campus where we have. The farmers will also be willing to have you there at their farm, observe things, and we can request some farmers to give you access to 1 or 2 lines in their field to do experiment. In the process, you will also learn how to talk to the farmers. Mahi, मेरे को तो हिंदी बोलना अच्छा लगता है, but are there some students here who don't speak, who can't understand Hindi? Let me know first of all. Is there any participant who doesn't understand Hindi at all? Let me find out. Any participant who does not understand Hindi, because we have some people from South India also, so we have to make sure. Please raise hand. I don't know. Mohammad Ashik. All right, Mohammad. So I will try to translate a few things in Hindi also, but we will have to continue. Lakshmi Priya, all right. Thank you. No, we understand. Thank you so much. All right. Kumata Vaishnavi, all right. We respect your constraint. So if I speak 1 or 2 lines in Hindi, I will translate them immediately to English. Please, Mahi, what I suggest is you can keep a translate option. Google has a translate option. It can transcribe what I am talking in Hindi to you. Amar or Chetan, can you just explain to her how to do that? Send her a message, and then she will get.
Okay, Professor.
She will get Hindi translation of what I am speaking. It is a speech to text option that Google provides, where you can get Hindi title, so to say, on the video that you are listening to. It is possible. Just see whether we can put that option on for her. So coming back, we have a small farm where you can do experiment. There are crops growing there, vegetable, fruits, and others. There are farmers around the Srishti campus at whose farm you can work and who we can persuade. If you want, some of you would like to stay overnight in a farmer's house to understand how they live, how they cope with the problem, we can arrange that also, because some of you may never have stayed in a village. So it might be useful to spend a few nights in the village to see how common people live. And then see how you can learn not only about the technological content of our everyday life, but also the social context, institutional context. हमारा समाज जिंदा कैसे रहता है? How does our society survive all these stresses in life? How do people help or do not help each other? Good. Kirti, I'm very happy that you have volunteered. All of you who volunteer to stay overnight for 1 or 2 days or 2 days in the village, you can attend classes from there. And Ramesh, can you arrange? Ramesh, आप कर देंगे सुविधा ये गांव में रहने की? रमेश रमेश
यस सर, यस सर,
कर देंगे ना सुविधा ये गांव में रहने की बच्चों की?
बिल्कुल सर, बिल्कुल।
हाँ, क्योंकि मैं चाहता हूं कि ये हमने अभी नहीं किया, लेकिन आई जस्ट नाउ गॉट 2 or 3 वॉलंटियर्स, देयर मे बी मोर, तो हम उनके रहने की व्यवस्था करेंगे उनके घरों के साथ में, छोटे किसानों के साथ में, ठीक है
हाँ
ना?
जी, हाँ जी,
आई एम गेटिंग
बिल्कुल।
मेनी सच रिक्वेस्ट, तो थोड़ा सा उनके अंदर और संवेदना जागेगी. And
Yes.
this, I'm sorry that this idea came to us very late after 10 weeks, but I'm happy. It's never too late to correct a mistake. And we should have done it before, but I'm sorry that we didn't do. But we are going to do for your batch. And your batch in that sense is lucky because you'll get a chance to feel, to experience how our society lives. You will realize even small waste from the home is put in a proper place in many cases. Not every case, but many cases. How do they take care of the animal? You know, if the person has 4 cows, each cow has an attitude. Or a buffalo, they have attitude, they have temperament. They can't be treated like same way. Some are a little more sensitive than others when they have to be fed or they have to be given water. So you will learn about animal psychology, something that I observed when early in my life when I was doing field work, and it touched me. Of course, now many of you have pets, so you would have realized that. But the cows are also pets, and they have identity, they have attitude. You will learn about that. You will also learn about how important it is to respect. Yoga, you have come very late. You have joined very late, yoga, but please try to be in time. I will request today, most of you were in time. Please follow the discipline. Amar, how much time do I have? When is the next session?
10:30, Professor.
10:30. All right, I have got 15 minutes. So I mentioned to you that we have lab and we have land and we will have village communities around us where you can stay. Some of you want to visit and come back in the night. That's also possible. We will arrange that. Our colleagues, Mahesh Parmar and Ramji Bhai and a few others will help you to go to the villages. My suggestion will be, if you go to the village, walk through the fields. Walk through the fields. In some fields, you will notice, of course, Saurashtra is more famous for that than Gandhinagar, but nevertheless, you will notice in some fields, there is not a single weed. कितनी मेहनत पड़ती है भाई, 1 एकड़ के फार्म में एक भी निंदामण, खरपतवार या वीड नहीं होता है, तो कितनी मेहनत करनी होगी उन किसान की पत्नियों ने, उनके घर में पत्नी ने, बच्चों ने, सबने मिलकर काम किया होगा. So you will also observe the finesse, the sophistication, the care with which farmers take care of their farm. But remember one thing, and this is very important. When you go to the village, and we'll try to arrange your interaction with villagers, Ramesh, we should also organize a meeting with some of the outstanding traditional knowledge holders during the BIIS. है भाई, थोड़ा शेड्यूल में एडजस्टमेंट करेंगे. है रमेश? चेतन तो मुझे दिख नहीं रहा. चेतन है? तो रमेश?
यस सर.
तो एक मीटिंग करेंगे हम ऑर्गेनाइज आउटस्टैंडिंग ट्रेडिशनल होल्डर्स के साथ में और कुछ फार्म वर्कर्स के साथ, मजदूरों के साथ.
हाँ जी.
Because I want you to realize that one farmer will till only his or her farm all his life. One farm may have 4 plots, 3 plots in different parts of the village. Some will be owned, some will be leased. But farm worker works on 10, 15, 20 farms within the village and outside. When you talk to a worker, you will find many more insights than you may get from the farm. Farmer knows a great deal about his farm, everything almost about his farm, because he has tilled that same piece of land for 40 years, 30 years, 50 years. But a farm worker during the same period has worked on many farms. So they have seen the contrasting practices of different farmers. Why some farmers so early? Why some farmers so late? Why some farmers do this or that? So we will arrange a meeting with both farmers, if possible, farm women, and third, with farm workers. 3 meeting हम लोग आपके लिए कोशिश करेंगे in the afternoon. Those of you who are here, will have face-to-face interactions. For others, we will try to see how we can bring some of them to the class and discuss with you their experiences. Because it's very important that you realize that knowledge of people who work with their hands is a different kind of knowledge. And I would like then you to develop respect for the research assistants, for the lab attendants, for other people, including the one who cleans your house, who washes the utensils of your house. Each one of them has some knowledge. Different kinds of sticky substance or different kinds of utensils, how to remove them, they know. They use sometimes lemon peel, they use different kinds of things to clean them. They have their own knowledge system. So please, we will provide you opportunity for interacting with farmers, farm women, and laborers to the extent possible, so that you can listen to them, apart from the innovators, of course, so that you can listen to them and learn how they solve problems, how do they find solutions, how do they cope with the stress. Sometimes rains are delayed, sometimes rains are too much. When rains are too much, the weeds grow much more. When there are more weeds in some years, how do we manage? And do you know that then the animal, when they graze on weeds, particularly mature weeds or weeds which have seeds, then in their dung, the seeds of the weeds are also there. So when you apply farmyard manure to give organic matter to the soil, you get blessing of nutrition, but you also get a problem of weeds. But you have to solve it. So there are different ways. In previous batch, some student did a study, one student did a project on weed control by using some creative practices that we have in our database, and also what she found from her own community. So coming back now to the last 10 minutes, I would like to share about the resources that are available to you during the BIIS. So my colleague will share with you link of all the YouTube videos of different faculty members. Some may be teaching you, some may not be teaching you in this batch, have taught earlier, from IITs, from Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, from ISER, from NIPER, from eminent universities. All these YouTube videos are available to you at our Honeybee Network channel, and links of these videos will be provided by my colleague Amar. Amar?
Yes, Professor.
You can make a list of all the lectures with their name of the professor, their designation, topic of the lecture, and the link. You ask somebody to do that.
Okay.
Ramesh, thoda help karwaiega. If necessary, we can take help of some temporary staff.
Yes.
कुछ 2-3 लोग रख लेंगे, एक हफ्ते के लिए इसको रखना पड़े तो रख लीजिए और करवा लीजिए ये काम. So as early as possible, one of you had asked this question, will you have access to YouTube videos? Yes, you will have. Of the previous base also you will have. We will also share with you the databases that we have. So honeybee.org, you will find database of medicinal plant. The links will be shown by my colleagues later. Chetan and Ramesh will share with you. We have a database of medicinal plants, 200 medicinal plants in 4 languages, Hindi, Gujarati, Tamil, and Hindi, Gujarati, Tamil, and English. And the use of those plants for human application, for animal application, and agricultural application. You will find many databases of medicinal plant. Either they are for human beings. In some cases, they are only for agriculture. In few cases, they may be for veterinary, but none which have all the 3 uses at one place. And I wish eventually, if some of you, when you do a review on certain practices of certain plants, try to see that you can add a human application of that plant, you can add animal application of that plant, and you can add veterinary, the agricultural application of the plant. We will give you, you will look at this database and then you can add to it. Each one of you, if you do a review for one plant, we can add 50 more plants to this database. Then we have a database on common property resource institutions. Commons means, for example, in a society, you have common parking space in urban areas. And there are some conflicts. You should park car there, you should park there. There may not be allotted slots. Some people come early, they park there. But I was parking here. So what? It's a common place. So a lot of conflicts arise in common management. Common pond, common grazing land, common forest, common facilities of threshing ground for grains, crops. All of these are commons. So how do people around the world, more than 25 countries, around 165 institutions published and some non-published, indigenous institutions that have been devolved by people. Sasti.org/CPRI, you will find this database of common languages. Then we have database of published practices of honeybee. That also link you will find at honeybee.org. Then fourth is very important. We have a guild database, grassroots Indian language database. So about 5,000 practices in 4 languages, English, Hindi, Gujarati, and Tamil. All free accessibility. Then fifth database we have is Techpedia.in. We'll talk in detail later on. But Techpedia.in has 200,000 information of 200,000 title or abstract of more than 500,000 students from 600 institutions around the country. Why did we make this database? So that no student does what has been done before. What can you do? You can collect the abstracts or titles of the student projects from your institution. Send it to us, we will upload it with the name of the student, title, name of the guide, keywords, and abstract. That's all. So the credit will go to the college, to the department, to the guide who guided that student project, name of the student, contact information. All credit will go to all of you, but we will give visibility to your effort as we have given to 200,000 other groups of students. Then another database that we have, and this was developed during last year with 2 of my students, Zaigam Khan and Devika Kaushal. Both of them are in US now, but they were in my class on intellectual property right at IMA. They were from IIM Nagpur, studying at IMA at that time when Nagpur was being set up. IIM Nagpur was being set up. So this database is of abundant patent. What happens when you file a patent? You have to pay fees periodically to maintain those patents. So in US, you have to file at 3.5, 6.5, and 11.5 years. If you file the patent, you got the patent, but you did not pay the fees, then patent gets abandoned. It becomes open access. Anybody can use it. So 1 million such patents, 10 lakh such patents, which are abandoned, have been downloaded. Almost than half are already available at techpedia.in/patent or gyan.org/patent.php. Both lead you to the same site, techpedia.in/patent. Free access. Why do we do this? We are doing this, and this is the last point I want to mention, so that what we download, what we get from the world, and what we share with the world. What we share with the world should be more than what we get from the world. That's why this word is beautiful. So friends, when I conclude, I will ask you, is there anyone in the class whose upload to download ratio is more than 1? Upload of content and download of content is more than 1? Anybody? Who upload more than what she or he downloads? Koi hai classmate? Lakshmi Priya, how much did you download last month or last week? You would know that because that will reflect in your mobile usage or internet usage. And how much did you upload? Lakshmi Priya, did you upload anything? Did you share anything that you wrote? Your blog or your essays, your assignments, did you share? Bhavani, did you? Amisha?
Students, you can unmute yourself and answer.
Madhulika? Yeah, Dr. Anand.
Sir, yes, sir.
आप मेरी बात समझ रहे हैं? आप मेरे साथ, अब तो हमारे गेस्ट आ गए हैं, तो
Okay.
very welcome, Dr. Anand. But I was just saying, Avinash, Dr. Anand, that we should ask these questions to our students and scholars, that how much do they download and how much they upload, isn't it? We want to be a world leader, but world leaders are those who upload a lot, who share a lot. Avinash, how much did you share and how much did you download?
Sir, I uploaded one शायरी on my Insta page.
What did you do?
शायरी.
शायरी. ठीक
Yes,
है, शायरी तो अच्छी बात है, लेकिन बच्चों मैं क्या कह रहा हूँ कि अभी when you do assignments for your courses and you will do assignments here, while you will submit it to us, you can also upload them at your portal, isn't it? At your blog.
no, sir.
So, you know, one thing I'll tell you in my experience, both because of publication of papers, I continue to do that every year for last 45 years. Then no year has passed when I might not have published any paper. Of course, it is lesser now than what it was before, but I'm going to pick it up in the current year. And by blogs that I write, and mainly these two, of course, social media I will exclude. It's transitory. Now, when you upload your content, preferably on blogs, but sometime on social media, and download a lot of papers, content, as a knowledge provider, as a society which wants to be a knowledge-intensive society. We want India to be a leader in knowledge economy. Then we must share more than others. So before I conclude, let me tell you that whatever assignments you do, whatever projects you do, upload them in your own, and you can make a free blog at WordPress or many other tools are available. If some of you need any guidance, our team can help. And maybe some of you can help. Why should we help? A lot of you are more knowledgeable than us in some of the IT applications and some of the tools that we have. So help each other. Seek help from each other. You must also collaborate. So for example, Pratima is mentioning that she created a meme page. Now I would like to see that. Maybe there are some funny things there. Interesting. But you can also use this for different kinds of questions that you want to share. And you know what it will do? It will bring you strangers. Every day, if I don't get a single mail from someone who I didn't know, who has read some of my paper or some blogs, I feel as if I've been ignored by the world. I don't matter. And I feel a little down that day. But the way I get a mail from some student somewhere, sir, I'm working on this and I read this and can I discuss with you? Sure. Why not? So Preeti, that is good that you're sharing your artwork, but supposing you also make drawings of plants, I don't know if you do, but if you do, upload that also. Art, culture, poetry, essay, all of that is good. But also share some content which helps you to grow as a professional, as a scholar, as a scientist. So let me close here. Thank you so much. And I welcome Dr. Anand. He is a very senior leader of biotechnology ecosystem of our state. Dr. Anand is not only a great scholar and has published a lot of papers, but even when COVID started, I think your lab was one of the first to map the COVID genome, isn't it, Dr. Anand? And you submitted how many to the WHO site?
Say many of them.
Many of them, isn't it? Or variants also. So what I'm saying is that he and his team are working on the edge of biotechnology, and they have brought a lot of laurels, not only to the state, but to the country. We are very privileged, Dr. Anand, to welcome you today, and floor is yours. Thank you so much.
Sir has been a mentor for many years now, ever since I was an MSc student. And then when I joined, of course, one of my mentors, Dr. Chattu, was a very close friend of Gupta sir. So thank you so much for having me here.
Oh, I didn't realize that's met you when I came to visit. I used to come to visit to Dr. Bharat Chattu.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir,
Oh,
and you
yes,
were a
yes,
close
very
friend
kind.
of us.
Yes,
Sir.
yes. And he used the science, microbiological science, for building capacity of the slum children and others. And I'm so happy that you remembered him today. Great scientist, wonderful human being. And we're all grateful that we had a chance to know him, and through them that we both came to know. So Dr. Anand, floor is yours.
Sir, thank you, sir. So thank you so much for having me here. And if you deem it appropriate, let me directly start sharing my screen and my slides so that we save on to time. I'm sure you would be able to see my screen now. Maybe.
Yes, it is visible. It is visible.
Yes.
Full
Yes.
screen kar lijiye.
So I.
Dr. Bharat, Anand,
Yes.
full screen kar lo. That's right. That's. Thank you.
So, you are at the temple of innovation. You are learning a lot of innovation. What I thought I'll quickly, in my this keynote address, I'll talk to you about why should you commercialize innovation. When I say commercialize, it doesn't necessarily mean only against money. It could be against kind. It could be against impact. And that is what we learned from Gupta Sahab as well. आप बहुतों को शायद मालूम होगा, हमारे पिताजी हमेशा कहते थे that पैसे कुएं में भी फेंकना है, गिन के फेंको. So it is about this. It is not about only commerce, but it is about making things operate. So with such a learned audience, with so many number of young students wanting to make their mark in the field of innovation, I thought I'll just quickly tell you as to government has been working enormously into this area. And, it is not only in terms of giving money or a grant, but there are so many number of ways. So first thing first, apart from thanking Professor Anil Gupta, I also should thank a lot of people behind. I know Dr. Murugan is also working there, and there are so many number of other people out there. So Ramesh Bhai and all of them, you have been friends now for so many number of years. So thank you, everyone. I'll also take this opportunity to thank the mission director, current and past secretary, DST, Government of Gujarat, other secretaries through whom we have received a lot of funding, we received a lot of mentoring, and so on and so forth. So team GSBTM, now GSBTM has been broken into it is restructured into a number of other organizations. So Professor Gupta did talk to you about Gujarat Biotech Research Center, which has been doing work in the field of genome sequencing. But apart from that, we also have Savli Technology Business Incubator, Gujarat Biotechnology University, and so on. I also have this habit of thanking a lot of my mentors who have had a impressionable, who have had very strong impressions on me right from my secondary school, where Bhosle sir, to you will see Chattu Saab over there, Professor Shah, Professor Desai, Professor Chaya, and a lot of other people who have, who have groomed me over a period of time. So I intend to take the discussion forward in this forum, talk to you about what is different when we talk research and technology versus innovation commercialization, and how the coming times are going to be different, and why does government support technopreneurship, or why does government support innovation commercialization, and why is it more needed than ever. So, and what are the support systems that are publicly available. The very reason for having people from these government organizations is they are able to tell what are the support systems that are available from government, which are meant for people, and we want more and more people should make benefit of it, but we may not have enough number of applications. So this could be a good forum to talk to you about. Yes, please come forward and take and make the best use of it. I'll start with a small story, and that is the story of the light bulb, of obviously Thomas Edison and light bulb. So, so was Edison the inventor of the light bulb? also get to see some chats out there. Okay, that was Sir's comment. I was wondering if there was some comment from some student. So you will be surprised to know that Edison was not the inventor of the light bulb. There had been so many number of other people, at least 15 to 20 people who had worked in the field of the incandescent, the incandescent light. Okay, but Edison is often credited for invention. So why is it so? It is because essentially he was the one who commercialized the invention. तो बात यह है कि इतिहास भी उन्हीं को याद रखता है जो इन्वेंशन, देखो बहुत सारा रिसर्च वर्क okay would have remained in the libraries of various universities had it not been for Techpedia. So what Techpedia did was Techpedia took the works of us researchers, okay, to a database where anyone can search and reach out and can find out these things, right? So only when you take this invention to the common people, when you take this invention to its anjam, to its impact, it is only then that you have made the mark, okay? तब ही सिर्फ इतिहास आपको याद रखता है, and hence, Edison is remembered incorrectly as inventor, but primarily because he commercialized the invention. So with this short story, I'll now move in to, now that you have come up here in Gujarat, Gujarat is good at commercialization, right? So what we know as simple value addition, this is best quality potatoes, which may be available at 25 rupees per kg. But when you add some value to it, best chips are available at rupees 500 per kg. Okay, and obviously the amount of resources that are spent, tel ho, kuch ho, it is not that. But then you make better profits when you sell a product which has been value added instead of the raw material, right? So this is the case of value addition. It is an economic activity. But would this solve all the problems that we have in mankind? Before I come to that, I'll give you this another example. अब देखो कॉफी इधर भी मिलती है, ओके, और एक कॉफी इधर भी मिलती है, लेकिन ये कॉफी के दाम और ये कॉफी के दाम कितने ज्यादा अलग है, कितना ज्यादा, कभी-कभी स्वाद जो है, जो ये काका की जो कॉफी होती है उसमें स्वाद लाजवाब होता है, ओके, और उसके बावजूद जो है you get to see that this cost enormously skyrocketing, right? So what is it? What is the difference? The difference is in the brand, right? The Starbucks coffee, it carries a brand, right? I'll just add a bit more to the story, and that is there are some brands like this Arrow shirt or this Reebok shoes. Okay, Gupta sir ने patents की बातें की इसके पहले आपको, और something that is going off patent, etc. Another type of IPR is a trademark, right? Now this Arrow shirt might cost something like $115. Just imagine $115. Okay, but do you know what is its cost price? Okay, इसके पीछे जो लागत गई है, what is the cost price behind it? It is sometimes as little as $5, which means the money that will eventually be credited to the farmers who grew cotton in Bangladesh or in India, then some tailors who stitched in somewhere in China or in Malaysia or in India. Okay, the warehouses that you have finished product को रखने के लिए, you have Bangalore or Singapore and so many number of other warehouses. So the value chain, okay, कितना पैसा बटेगा? $5. बाकी $110 कहाँ जाएगा? It goes to this company Arrow. Can you imagine? The same thing with Reebok. Okay, the cost price is very little. The rest goes to the owner of the intellectual property. Thus, it is the commercial world is really devilish with lot of stakes when it comes to the owner of the IPR. So just connecting the story to the previous slide, okay, एक इकोनॉमिक एक्टिविटी की हमने बात की और फिर कुछ इंटेलेक्चुअल प्रॉपर्टी या ट्रेडमार्क्स की बात की है हमने, और इसके बाद but would they be able to solve a lot of challenges that we have before mankind? All of them are related to food. I know it is breakfast time, so I thought let me take up some examples of food. The first picture towards left is possibly because of excess of food. Obesity is a big problem, but malnutrition, just imagine in the same time in this world, you have so many people suffering from malnutrition and at the same time, so many people suffering from obesity. The third picture is also related to food. Well, not food, but nutrition. In spite of having enough amount of food, does the food have enough nutrition? So this talks about the vitamin A deficiency disorders, okay, and we know that vitamin A is very much important for vision, for eyesight, okay, and it leads to so many number of disorders like xerophthalmia, like night blindness, like so many number of other problems, right? So the point that I wanted to make is these are the challenges before mankind, but would we be able to solve using simple economic activity? No, it needs innovation and it needs research. So if you recall the first point, research versus technology versus innovation and innovation commercialization. So I come quickly to this point that it is only through this kind of technology intensive research that you do, okay, that eventually you are able to come up with solutions. But the solution that eventually is approved by the market, that approved to the market, that will be available to the customer, it goes through a huge number of screening. Okay, sometimes you have 10,000 leads in the first place. Okay, would all this 10,000 become products? No. So out of this 10,000, you pick up some of them, okay, depending upon which are the best performers. Is there anything contraindication? Is there some molecule which is not giving, which is giving some undesirable results? You need to remove that. So that is how out of so many number of potential molecules, you move out some and you go ahead with phase 1 clinical trials only with a few, and then you further streamline, you further go on reducing those numbers, and eventually it is only 1 or 2 products that eventually reach the market. But the expenses of all of this research that goes at preclinical stage or even before that and so on and so forth, okay, you get to see that all of this gets added up to which one? To the final product that reaches the market. And it is in order that the innovator is able to support that, we have intellectual property rights. We know that very well. And it is for this purpose, it is through such a scrutiny that a molecule like this aspartame, okay, which is a very common molecule, all of you would know about it. Okay, this is a molecule, though this is a chemistry based molecule, but this molecule, which is available at affordable 54 rupees pack for 15 pellets, okay, something like this. Just imagine it is, close to what 3 rupee, what kind of 3.5 rupee per tablet per, so this kind of pellets are available, and this is out of so many number of molecules that you go on screening, and finally one molecule comes in. Okay, but had it not been for this molecule, you can imagine life for diabetics would have been इसी ने तो जो है मिठास लाई है उनके जीवन में, right? So with this, I want to come to this example once more, and that is, now here is one chai wala, here is another chai wala, but I want to, this has been created by a microbiologist from Rajkot, okay, and this guy has come up with this kind of a franchisee. What are the differences in their businesses? Okay, so towards left, this is frugal, it is less resource intensive. regulatory compliance is least, it is tax saving, and so on and so forth. But I'm sure you are able to observe that you have some foreigners here, and this can attract some foreign earnings. Okay. And it is this that I want to draw your attention to. T-Post is a trademark. It is an intellectual property which is reflective of a particular quality of a particular brand. And the innovation out there is not only in the product, but is in the delivery of the product. So innovation does not limit itself only to research work and coming with a fantastic product, but also its delivery. And how do you ensure that you are able to attract better returns, especially foreign earnings? Why is it important? It is important because, okay, all of these examples, because it is through this that innovators and innovative entrepreneurs, they help in nation building. Okay, all of us know that a nation is only as strong as is its economy. Now, a nation's earnings is through manufacturing, is through services, or through intellectual property. Okay, which means that आज आपने कुछ प्रोडक्ट को बेचा और उसमें से जो रेवेन्यू आया, नाउ आपने प्रोडक्ट बनाया, उसको डेनमार्क ने खरीदा, ओके, तो आपको डेनमार्क से पैसा आपके पास आया. So that is where India stands to earn, right? Similarly, through services, when you provide services to a foreign land, you eventually earn. But a very interesting thing out there with innovators, obviously, is intellectual property. It could be in form of softwares, it could be in form of patent royalties, or it could be in terms of technologies. So all of these examples that I wanted to make a mention is because it is here that entrepreneurs or innovators can contribute towards this increasing gap between the import and exports. Okay, exports have always been so little and imports have been so huge. So this is where possibly we can contribute. And having been able to contribute, we can improve. Okay, we want to make this India as green or as black as possible. Okay, because this gives a kind of a impression, or this is about GDP against PPP, purchasing power parity. Okay, so so we don't want to become yellower. We want to become blacker. That means stronger economy. Okay, so I'll miss this PPP out because I want to focus more onto the kind of government support systems that are available. Okay, but not before making just one point out there. 2005, we saw with the post-GATT era, we saw things changing, and this changes that we saw were in the way government was supporting innovation. It was after 2005 that government started supporting innovation in private sector as well. You had programs like Nimitli come from CSIR, SBIRI came up from DBT, and so many number of them. In 2011-12, we had BIG, BIPP, BISS. The next session by Manish Devan Saab will talk a lot of these programs and how innovators are helped, and so on and so forth. Okay, and when you look at so many number of growing economies, you get to see that a lot of funds out there comes from industry as well. So can you see these ones where the blue thing is large? So even China or Germany or Japan, Korea, you get to see that private sector's contribution into innovation is pretty high. In contrast to that, in India, we get to see that it is not enough. And it is for this reason, it is important that that we contribute towards it. Okay, so winds of change in government of India as well as government of Gujarat, okay, have been strong. We get to see the focus has come now to translational research or research commercialization, into technology development, demonstration, spin-off, formation of startups, okay, and so on. And these are some number of programs that have come up. Okay, so as I said, the solution or trend, of course, is innovation commercialization. And to sum up the first segment of my story is, this is how we have all of us know about this example of some innovators coming up with a simple thing like WhatsApp, and we know how it collected $19 billion from Facebook, and it was a big story out there. Similarly, this was a story that the government of Gujarat supported. Here was a techno innovator, okay, and he came up. He did not even own the technology, but he took a technology. I don't remember whether it was with Techpedia or with something else, but he took a technology and he made sure that it reaches the last lab. It reaches the last person in the society. Okay, and for that, we had invested into this company through an equity fund of the state government, and we made some good money out of it. Okay, apart from the technology, the point out there is tech-based startups is the secret. So the trends, I understand a lot of you are students, and the trends out there after MSc have been applying abroad and going for a PhD or whatever. Very few of them do return, but then they keep on looking or applying for immigration and things like that. But the trends are changing. If you look at economies like Israel and South Korea, you get to see 80% of them, 80% of students passing out graduate programs and postgraduate programs look out to start their own startups. This trend has started up in India as well. And you have, I was listening to Ritesh Agarwal of OYO yesterday, and I found, a lot of thoughts synced out there. Now the trends are changing, and hence it might be worth considering commercializing your innovation. Okay, and we know that the journey is pretty long, and it requires lots of steps out there. Okay, it is only when an unmet need meets a plausible technological solution that an idea is born. That idea ऐसे कैसे तो market में जाता नहीं है. You have to test it, proof of concept, then developing it prototype, and then rights or trials, approvals, and so on and so forth. Okay, so while the first component could be innovation, but the commercialization happens to be the longer end out there. Okay, and even the first innovation component, it needs a lot of steps out there, from need identification to proof of principle or proof of concept, and so on and so forth. Okay, and we can dissect each of the step and understand what is this journey of innovation commercialization. Okay, and what are the different risks that are involved in the process. Okay, so all these lines that you get to see out there. Okay, while commercialization, anyways, I missed this out, but I want to draw your attention to, this risk, the technology risk out there. The moment you have proof of concept, there is a considerable reduction in the technology risk, and so on and so forth. Then the product risk out there, the market risk, and so on and so forth. Okay, but across the point that I want to make, across this value chain at different steps, you have large number of support systems already available. So let me spend a moment or two. I have close to 5 minutes to wind up, and let me spend a minute or two onto this. Okay, the journey for an innovator, okay, to make sure that history remembers him, is only commercialization. And as I said, the path is long and is difficult, but there are support systems available, especially from government's end. This one could be for funding. Let me start with this quarter first. This could be grant-based funds or equity-based funds. It could be ideation funds. It could be seed funds. It could be growth funds or expansion funds. Then you have pre-series A, B, C funds, etc., etc. Apart from that, you also have mechanisms wherein industry-ready manpower is made available by government, handholding, mentoring, capacity building out there. You have agencies, sorry, you have agencies like Srishti and Techpedia helping you with technology scouting and tech transfer, regulatory compliances, and so on and so forth. And lastly, you want to try out before, you want to try the idea out. And this is called as ideation, or just trying things out. If it works out, you would want to incubate your project. You would want to develop the proof of concept, greenfield, brownfield, and so on and so forth. So support is available for all of these aspects, and this is one such incubator at Savli STBI, okay, which grooms you through your technology readiness levels from, you know, you may come at 1, you may come at 5, but the idea is to groom you for the further step, and funds could be available, free access to laboratories could be available. Okay, just come build capacities. These are the instrumentations things, that could be available. Ask for help. Okay, if you ask for help, you might, find help out there, and I'm sure it is this generation that will change this trend, and we will have scenarios similar to Israel and South Korea, even in India. Okay, so the take-home messages out there that I want to make here is change is inevitable. It is coming up. Okay, but let us be part of this change. Okay, the time to do this is now, and this now time may not last forever. Okay, once you grow up, and once you have family of your own, you might have little more responsibilities. That may not be an ideal time, not necessarily, but it may not be that ideal time. Possibly with lot of energy and time now, the time could be now. You need to think, see, observe, identify your business idea, identify innovations out there, and go ahead. But certainly this is the time to build teams. This is the time wherein you have to identify which are the compulsive members of my team. Okay, I can take care of marketing and so on. I need someone who will look into research, who will look into product improvement and so on. So the time could be now to find out these compulsive members, build up the team, build up your business idea, and I'm sure we will have a great future. So thank you. With this, these are the email IDs. I'll be happy to answer questions if you have any. I hope, let me stop sharing so that, yes, I hope I was audible well throughout, and
Yes, doctor, it was clear.
yes.
Students, if you have any questions or need any clarifications, you can ask Dr. Badal.
I'll be happy to answer if you have any.
Can we get to know about your work on the genome of the COVID?
So I understand the question is what work was done during COVID era.
Yes, the genome sequencing,
etc. So you will have Dr. Amritlal Patel, another colleague of mine from GBRC. I was going through the schedule and I was happy to see my colleague, and he will anyways talk to you about it. But the component that he may not talk about, let me tell you about that, and that is about the funding component for COVID research projects. So the biotechnology wing of Department of Science and Technology of Government of Gujarat, it comprises of a number of organizations, of which GBRC or Gujarat Biotech Research Center happens to be one component, which is the one that did the sequencing work and which Dr. Amritlal will talk about. But GSBTM or Gujarat State Biotechnology Mission continues to be the nodal agency supporting funding, research funding, and we opened up some number of rounds for supporting projects that are related to COVID. It could be related to traditional medicines and their impact, or newer molecules or substitutes or biosimilars and so on and so forth. Okay, so another agency I did show some slides about, it was that incubator. The incubator, we had some incubators that came up with some excellent work. For example, we know that there was a time when we preferred only the N95 kind of a mask. Okay, and it तो मिलता नहीं था बाजार में, black marketing चल रहा था, and it used to be very costly, 70-75 rupees at that time. In contrast, this thing which at places may cost 5 rupees, but its cost price could be as little as 60 paise. Okay. So there were some innovators which converted this into N95, okay, by using some nanobiotech solutions, okay, and it qualified against the N95 parameters, the parameters that are there for N95 mask. Okay, so some of them did this kind of a work, some of them did some other kind of work. So there were at least 4 or 5 innovators who were working in the COVID related areas. Yeah. Does that answer you? Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, if there are no more questions, let me thank the organizers for having me here, and I'll be happy to answer questions if there are any. I just
Students, you should go ahead and ask questions. It's a rare opportunity for you all to hear someone so accomplished. So please go ahead and ask, no matter intelligent, but even foolish questions. Go ahead.
There
Anybody?
are no foolish questions. I hear Rashmi is here asking about career options after BTech. And
Gautam Jha has raised hand. Yes, go ahead, Gautam.
So many researchers or many professors are researching on their fields, and they only do the research, but they did not impact in that commercializations. Why they do like that, sir? They should give their product to the market. What are the major problems that they can't impact their research?
That is a fantastic question. There are n number of questions between researching and taking the product to the market. Okay, but through the question itself, it talks about some opportunities, and these opportunities are for others who can study the researchers, the low-hanging fruits from such researchers, and you can take it to the market. Okay, for example, the XIO biosolution story that I showed, Leo Mavili was a candidate from Kerala who had come to Ahmedabad for some entrepreneurship development program kind of he was clear he did not want to do his MTech, he did not want to do his PhD. Okay, but he wanted to make an impact. Okay, so what he did was he studied कौन से रिसर्चर का कौन सा काम ऐसा है जिसको हम आगे अंजाम तक लेके जा सकते हैं. Okay, so the innovator gets royalty against the technology that he in-licensed. Okay, and then he worked his way up against regulatory compliances, against production, making sure raw material is available, and so on and so forth, and making product that is acceptable not only in Indian markets, US markets, European markets, Japan market. Okay, these are European market जो है या Japanese markets हैं, ये बहुत stringent है quality के मामले में कुछ matters में, लेकिन वहां पर भी वो अव्वल रह पाया और उस तरीके से जो है he made a blockbuster product out there. So this is where I think it shows newer ways for having new careers in taking the product to the market.
सर तो फिर उसमें किसका नाम आएगा कि मतलब उस प्रोडक्ट को किसने बनाया, क्योंकि मतलब जो रिसर्चर है वो तो उस प्रोडक्ट के ऊपर पेटेंट कर चुके होंगे, मतलब वो रिसर्च के ऊपर
कभी एक का नाम नहीं होता है, उसमें अनेकों के नाम है. जो रिसर्चर ने काम किया उसका भी नाम है, लेकिन जिसने जो एंटरप्रेन्योर है, ओके, जिसने कंपनी बनाई, तो उस कंपनी आप कई बार देखते होंगे कोई दवाई के ऊपर भी लिखा होता है कि दिस इज मैन्युफैक्चर्ड बाय दिस, मार्केटेड बाय दिस. अरे प्रोडक्ट बन जाए, मार्केट मतलब प्रोडक्ट बना भी दिया, लेकिन उसको बेचने का काम भी जो है और कॉम्प्लेक्स होता है, एंड यू माइट नीड अ स्पेशलाइज्ड कंपनी फॉर दैट पर्पस एज वेल. आप कई बार देखोगे तो मैन्युफैक्चर्ड बाय दिस कंपनी, मार्केटेड बाय दिस कंपनी, but product was developed under license developed from product was developed from a technology, okay, license from CSM CRI या कोई तो ऐसी जो है रिसर्च ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का नाम लिखा होगा कि CSIR की ये ऑर्गेनाइजेशन से इसको लिया था कि कैसे है, और वहां के जो इनोवेटर का नाम भी उसमें लगा रहता है। तो इस तरीके से सारा it is a huge task where multiple people come together to make sure that eventually the product reaches the end user.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Well, then I convey my heartfelt thanks to Professor Gupta and all the organizing team out there, Dr. Murugan and everyone. Ramesh
Thank you so much, Anand. Thank you so much. We're grateful. And stay engaged, and let's see whether one of the thought that has been in my mind that whether we should do a similar BIIS for Gujarat also.
Sure,
so we
sir.
should discuss this, and you would have received the whole program, so you know the kind of scholars we are trying to bring together from the
Fantastic,
country.
sir.
So I think that with the similar attention and support is deserved by the students of our state also. So we will discuss that further. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Thank you, sir.
So Amar, we can give maybe 5 minutes or kind of a fitness break.
We can give a 10-minute break. Then
so they can stand up, they can have a cup of
can,
tea, they can have a cup of tea, they can stand up, they can do some exercise, they can walk around, because sitting for long duration at a stretch without break is not good for health. Anna?
Yes, Professor.
And then you can continue. I will join you in the evening now. All right?
Okay, Professor. Thank you. Students, you can now take a short break, and we will resume back by 11:20. Okay, 10 minutes. Thank you.